Long Island's Best Artist at the Heckscher Museum 2017.
My name is Mia Restrepo, and I'm a senior from Oceanside High School.
Welcome, Mia. Your artwork is on display in a nationally renowned museum. What one word would you use to describe this experience, and please explain a little bit?
I definitely say it's motivating, especially since this is the third year I've been trying to get into the Heckscher. So after being rejected the first and second year, that definitely motivated me to get to where I am right now in the museum. And after this, it gives me motivation to keep pushing forward and to keep striving for like more exhibits or more opportunities out there.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
What was your reaction when you first heard that your work was selected for Long Island's Best?
I was ecstatic. I was so happy. It made my week. It was so rewarding, especially after the hard work that I put into my piece.
And what work of art on display in the museum was the inspiration for your artwork, and why did you choose this work of art?
My inspired piece was Margaret Minardi's Grackle, and I was inspired to her. First, I was really inspired to her color, her use of color, and her use of detail, and I thought that was incredible. I only wish I could see it in person. That'd be great. So then I realized her use of the birds in the drawing was really inspirational. How they looked very innocent, how they looked very vulnerable. But then you notice the string that's wrapped around all the birds, and then it kind of made me wonder why it was there and why were those birds trapped in that moment with the string wrapped around them.
Thank you. So what medium did you use to create your artwork?
I used digital composition, and I used a series of photographs which I photoshopped all together to create my illustration. And
was this the same medium as the inspirational artist?
Definitely not. She used a mixed media, so I think she used watercolor and colored pencil and maybe acrylic, but definitely not photographs and definitely not Photoshop.
Right. So what was the process of making this piece for you?
It was definitely a challenge, especially since all my photographs that I started out with were different hues and different tones of color, and they were all on different backgrounds. So I had to work very meticulously to make all the colors match in terms of lighting, in terms of saturation, and it was complicated.
Well, I work in Photoshop professionally, not for retouching, but I must say you really mastered. Everything looks so well married. You really made this a reality.
Thank you.
And I love the muted tones
of
the piece. I think you were extremely successful in taking all those different elements that I'm a little surprised when you said that every piece was had different lighting.
Especially since I had to reshoot my photos with the bird several times because he wasn't really cooperating. I wanted to make him seem like he actually was suspended, so I had to take a series of photos where gravity was working against him, where I was actually holding him up, but the strings wrapped around him was very difficult to manipulate in person, so I had to then lay him down and figure it out.
Wow, I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
The bird, no harm was done to any living creatures when making this artwork.
Absolutely not.
Really amazing.
Thank you.
And the bird lives.
Well, the bird, it's funny you say that because I've had people say it's very special that I took the bird when I found it and took these photos of it, that I basically gave it life after death. I gave it a little bit of purpose after just being found.
Oh, so it makes it makes your piece even more special, I think. Wow. So is your finished piece how you envisioned it? Did you have a clear vision of what you wanted to accomplish, or was it more of an exploration to get to your final piece?
I definitely did have a vision, but because it was a challenge in Photoshop, I had to work around some restrictions because a few things that I wanted to accomplish were definitely outside my range of being able to accomplish. So for the most part, yes, it did end up looking how I wanted it to.
Nice. So could you explain your process when making this piece? For example, whose hands are these, and how did you manipulate the photos, and really, where is the bird from?
Okay, so I'll start with the bird. Well, actually, I'll start with when the museum came to our school and gave us the presentation, and I saw Margaret's photo, her illustration. I was so it was like breathtaking. It was, I needed to be inspired by that one. That was the one I needed to be inspired by, and I needed to have an animal be in it. Like I needed a bird, and so I originally was going to go to the Oceanside Nature Preserve and ask if they had any like taxidermy birds I can borrow. But I was leaving school a few weeks later, and there was a little bird sitting outside an exit for our school, and school was over, and it was kind of in the way that if someone wasn't looking, they can like trip over it, they can step on it. I was leaving school with the girl whose hands are in it, and I was like, Jen, oh my god, like this is the moment, I have to take this bird and I have to figure out I need to photograph it, like I have to. And so we brought it home. There was like a brown paper bag next to it, so we took it home in a brown like bagel paper bag.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, and I wrapped it up and I left it in my backyard for a few days, but it was not for a very long time because it was freezing for one thing, too, like animals could get to it. But I had every single day, I took pictures of it and with different people helping me out because I was such a wimp. I couldn't like touch it. So we had gloves on. We were like, it was basically a dissection project, but a photo shoot. And so we took photos of my friend's hands first. She was in front of a white background, and I took photos of her hands like this, with strings tied to it, and another friend pulled them down to make it look like they were actually being like tethered down. And then we took other photos of the bird suspended. Then we took photos of the bird lying down.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was quite an adventure.
Yeah, it was a process.
And it really is all the elements are very well married.
Thank you. And it was from the moment that like I saw that bird sitting on the ground, I was like,
wow,
this is it. Like I have to get this done.
Well, thank you so much, Mia.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.